This is Matt Juckett. Last week we had a speech where we had to talk about leadership qualities and what makes a leader and what doesn't. And for me personally, I talked about football and sports as a main thing that makes a leader and builds someone's character up. On top of that, I referenced how some people are followers in the sports world as well as leaders, and usually the leaders make up the best players and people who you look up to and want to look up to. For me personally, when I played football, I wasn't so much the leader type. I would see what other people are doing and try to use that to improve my game. And to compare that to the business world, you see people lower on the totem pole who strive to reach higher, to get higher up in that business climate, that business world. And maybe they look up to their boss. Maybe they look up to another employee who has a higher position than them, and they want to reach that goal. That's what they think about. They want to reach that goal in life. They want to better themselves and better their career. And to link that back to football, leadership is all about accountability. And if you're willing to take it, some people aren't built to be leaders, and some are. The leaders today, they're willing to take responsibility, take accountability, and own up to their own mistakes. By doing this, they're willing to put the bearing on their back and reach for greater heights, and even take the downfall when it needs to be, take the blame when they need to be. And linking that back to sports again, we see the best players, the coaches taking blame. And I just think sports is a big thing to build character and helps everyone to build character, build those leadership qualities, build those team working qualities, those team bonding qualities, that group mentality to strive for one thing, one goal, one mission. It's a collaborative effort that everyone needs to give accordingly, and each person has to put in 100% of the work, 100% of the effort on their end if they want to reach their end goal. And this is what people strive to do and want in the business world. They want people who are willing to work, willing to do their job, put their head down and try to reach their end goal together as a company, as a business. Everyone doing their own part that they need to do. And back again, that's where it ties into football. Everyone takes their part. That's what I was talking about, the leadership qualities that some people have, and leaders are willing to take that accountability if those results aren't met. That's why I say sports are one of the most important things in today's world. I feel for those qualities and to help build those type of people who are willing to go to work like that. As for last week on my speech, there were a few ways that I practiced for it when pertaining to that speech about leadership in football. First, I would go over the speech a solid 8 times, 9 times, however many that be, just to make sure I get my thoughts right and what I want to say down and correct. And also so I didn't mess up or leave anything out. And I wanted to do that over and over and over again so I can finally reach that point where I feel confident in actually recording myself and submitting it. As for also practice last week, when recording the video, I ended up recording it 8 to 10 times as well, and the recording ended up not going through, not being submitted, not recording or downloading. I don't know what it was. So I had a lot of trouble with that. I was getting really frustrated, but I just kept on persisting and trying to put my head down and try and get this done, what needs to be done. And on top of that, I finally found out the problem with it. The video just wouldn't fully compress into one video. It was too long. So there's just some issues, but after doing it pretty much 8 to 10 times, recording it, and 8 times practicing it, I was pretty sure on what I had to say. I pretty much had it memorized on what I needed to do. On top of that, for this speech, I wanted to plan to speak more clearly and speak more fluently, which I wanted to do. I couldn't really do it as well in my house. I'm in my garage tonight because my dog has been barking for the last hour and he's been interrupting me. This is probably my 4th attempt on this. The other times I tried it inside and he would bark and mess up the whole video. So for this speech, I wanted to go somewhere more quiet where I could openly talk more loudly and everything, because last time during my speech he was asleep and I didn't want to disturb him, wake him up, have him start barking, but he's been going pretty crazy tonight for the last hour. So sorry for being in my garage. I hope it doesn't affect anything, but I just wanted to give you the best quality video that I could and speak as clear as I could, because that's something I really wanted to work on. And next speech, I want to work on my surroundings. As for anxiety during the speech last week, I didn't really face it that much, as I recorded the video a multitude of times, and anxiety just didn't really affect me. Maybe that would be because I didn't have people staring at me or anything, and it was just a camera. Might be different if I were on a podium talking to an audience. As for some strategies I used during my speech, I did reference some sources in my speech, that being the Harvard school, the Harvard College, and they reference certain speech strategies that one could use, that being rehearsing your speech. Try saying it to somebody in front of you before you have to finally give the actual speech. Make sure to practice it. Make sure you know your material 100%. Those were 2 key takeaways that I took from that article of the Harvard School of Business. Sorry, my throat was clogged. Yeah, so I chose to borrow some strategies from them and tried to apply them to this speech here. One of my greatest strengths, I would say, during speech in general and public speaking in general, is going into depth on stuff and being really try to explain what I'm saying. And I usually try to do that in group work, and if I'm talking to, let's say, at work, if I'm talking to coworkers and I want them to know something pertaining to the job, I really try to be real open and really explain what I'm trying to say to get my point across. One thing I would say that was one of my really good strengths of last week's video, this one, it could have used some work. I think it was okay though. Another strength I would have to say, starting off though, was that I get right to the point, and I usually try to bring my audience in and get them hooked on what I'm talking about. Try not to waste their time, because time is precious for everyone, and I don't like really wasting people's time. I like getting to the point, getting what I have to say done efficiently and really thought out. when it comes to delivering a speech, one thing that I already mentioned was that last week's I wasn't as open and as clear and loud as I wanted to be as I am now. I mean, I feel I'm able to speak more fluently, even though the area isn't that well. Yeah, it's a garage. But one thing I would say, tonight I'm able to speak way more clearly and openly during this speech. And one other thing that I really think that's important when delivering a speech, I would say, is eye contact. Eye contact is important. Lets your audience know that you're focused, you're on point, and that you're giving them your full attention and awareness to them. It helps build trust with your audience member, helps you really connect in a way. I would say for my speech last week, though, that I wanted to work on this week was I was looking down most of the time when recording my speech last week, and this week I wanted to look more forward. That's why I set the camera up this way, and I just felt it looked better. I wanted to dress up nice and present myself better than I did last week, which I feel I am. Another strength I would say to my speech that does need some work is staying on topic, staying focused. I try to stay on topic and not really stray too far away of where I'm going. I try to stay the course and let the audience know what message I'm really trying to let them hear. Throughout the speech last week, though, I felt I peeled off a little bit, and I was really kind of all over the place, which doesn't bode too well for a speech, I would say. But those are some things I would like to work on. I feel I'm doing a better job on this speech than I did the last speech, for sure. Sorry, I'm going through a little cold with the weather change. There are some things I want to improve on, and these things I want to improve on delivering my speech. I already mentioned being able to talk louder so the audience members hear me and know what I'm saying. I want them to be able to get my message and hear it across and have my message delivered to them clearly and cleanly. I don't want the audience members to miss words I'm saying or misspoke or think I misspoke and think I meant something else. Another thing that I really want to improve on is my delivery of the speech itself. I want to flow through my speeches and my words more fluently and more concise and more fluid in a way where it just feels natural going from one topic to the next topic onto the next topic. I feel that's really important when it comes to a speech, to keep people's attention gripped and keep them paying attention to you and keep them interested in what you're saying. Because if you're all over the place and you're really manic and sporadic on your points that you're trying to make or what you're trying to talk about, I feel it could really kind of lose the audience, I would say. And this is something that you don't really want to do, because if you end up doing that, then you pretty much lost the room, you lost your audience, your points you're trying to make. They don't really mean anything if no one's listening to you. And that's what I wanted to take away from my speech last week and move on to this week. I wanted to really be more in depth and more open, be able to speak more clearly and try to be more presentable, other than the garage. I'm sorry about that, Professor. I want to be more presentable and more open with my audience. And I just wanted to be more fluid when talking, and I feel like I did a lot better job on this speech than I did the last one for sure. So thank you, Professor.